Child star turned all-grown-up entertainer Jojo Siwa's career arc has well and truly slipped off course and careened straight into the dreaded cringe era. Once an unstoppable force of bright, neon, child-friendly entertainment, she was the perfect vehicle to shovel messages into the brains of impressionable children and consumable goods into their soft little chubby child paws. Hair bows, sequined outfits, and JoJo's dream car merchandise flooded toy shelves across the globe. It made her family and the Nickelodeon empire millions of dollars, but what happens when the child star and her audience grow up and lose interest in bedazzled hair accessories, rainbow unicorn backpacks, and glittery phone cases? How can the team around her keep the money coming in? And how can JoJo herself maintain her identity of fame and relevance, the identity that was forced upon her as a child and now the only identity she knows? With the release of her singles Karma and her cover of Kim Khan's 1981 hit Betty Davis Eyes, it seems everyone's social media timelines over the last 2 years have been flooded with a string of failed attempts to rebrand JoJo as a grown-up entertainer who has important things to sing and dance about. The cringy interviews where she declares herself the inventor of gay pop, the overly sexualized dance routines that felt like a teenager playing dress-up, the leather and rhinestone outfits that scream, "Look how adult I am," the music videos with forced edginess and badly sung raspy vocals being pushed through layers of auto-tune until the plug-in collapses under the pressure of the impossible demands that her voice places upon it. All of this has been widely mocked across the web. Now, long-time Don't Praise the Machine fans will know that those who are being widely mocked are a point of fascination for myself and my co-host John in this current era as we continue to try and understand how long can the cringe train keep bringing in the bucks before it derails completely. What techniques do the widely mocked employ to obfuscate the fact that their fame is now based on people laughing at them? In the case of JoJo, the fascinating questions multiply. Does she know she's become the butt of every joke? Does her family know or care? Does her team know who is using whom to make a buck? Is there a redemption arc waiting for Jojo Siwa, or are we simply witnessing a slow aching cringe-a-thon that will continue until everyone gets tired of her epic fails and stops paying her any attention whatsoever? Today, we're standing beside the crumpled carriages of the train wreck that is Jojo Siwa's adult rebrand and asking whether this is all twisted marketing genius or just the sad, inevitable collapse of a child star who never learned how to be anything else. What do you think is the answer to that question, John?
Wow. I've got to say, that's some of your finest intro work yet, Al. I feel like that's a kind of, it's like kind of a prairie home companion with a bit of a death of culture twist. I felt lulled and fascinated.
All the Patreon money's gone into the writing team. We have a whole writing team in my basement, and I flick them a couple of Patreon pennies now and then down there.
Exactly. If you want to get out of the basement, I need an intro.
I need Jojo Siwa intro.
Jojo's down there, in fact. So she wrote some of this herself. Yeah, so, I mean, you've really covered in that intro all of the things that make this both a fascinating story and a story that is well within our wheelhouse. As you say, we love the widely mocked and the conundrum that is imposed on people when they're celebrity. It brings them money, it brings them attention, it brings them a kind of veneer of artistic credibility, but it also brings them a lot of shame and is premised, in fact, to a large extent, at least in Siwa's case, a bit like she's kind of the Ray Gun of pop music, you know?
Yeah, or it made me think a lot about Peter Andre as well,
exactly.
John. Her arc is going quite Andre with reality TV. We'll get into that.
Yes, exactly.
Pop to reality TV.
I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about Britney Spears and, you know, whether she might kind of crash out in a more dramatic way as Britney sadly has. And there's kind of comparisons between her and others in terms of, you know, the involvement of her parents, in terms of the potential role of homeschooling in leading to a lack of self-awareness, but we can get into all of that. So this part of the show I like to call dredging through the Siwa, or or alternatively, Jojo hardly know yo.
Trump was going to drain the Siwa. I think that's why they elected him.
Drain the Siwa. And so, yeah, I mean, I had heard Jojo's name, but I was only kind of dimly aware of what she was about, and had seen these images of very kind of, sort of bubblegum pastel wearing, brightly colored.
I'm the same, John. I think what's quite interesting about this is the very fact that we're talking about her is somewhat of a testament to the power of Cringe, because before the Cringe arc, I didn't really pay her much. She wasn't really on my radar. I just kind of, I knew occasionally when you would go into a toy store, you would see that child, the neon clothing and the child face and the bow, and it would be on some product, and you'd go, I thought it was, that's like that YouTube girl. Like, what is this? And then never thought about her until suddenly that Karma single.
That's right. And I think if you were a man of our age who did think about her, there's probably a disturbing reason why that might be, because she was like a real kind of slightly icky kind of, well, she got her start on Dance Moms, and you can imagine, so I'll backtrack actually. Joni Siwa. She's born in Omaha. Joelle Joni Siwa. She's born in Omaha, Nebraska in 2003. So she's
20, go on.
Yeah, 22 now. And seems kind of much too young to me that anyone who's born in 2003 is of age, but that's how old I am. And her mother, Jesselyn, was a dance instructor, or perhaps it's Jesselyn. I don't know. I couldn't quite put myself through Dance Moms in preparation for this episode, so I'm not sure. She was a dance instructor. Tom, her dad, was a chiropractor. She hasn't.
Oh, wow. Our favorite.
Yeah. So they're real kind of.
He was a ring dinger.
He was a ring dinger. That's right. He's probably, I mean, God, if you were him, you'd be silly not to kind of try and pivot into the celebrity chiro sphere.
Siwa ASMR, dad, chiro. I'd be watching that.
I mean, she would be classic. She would be a classic person for the OC chiro to have on his YouTube channel. She has an older brother named Jaden, and Jaden's done a little bit of kind of vlogging. He's done a little bit of influency sort of adjacent stuff, but she was from the start, from, very early on. I mean, she's still very young, but from her childhood, she was kind of the concentration of her parents. They were really kind of like, we're going to make you a star. Jesselyn said, she's quite explicit, said it was her mission in life, as she said on Dance Moms, to make it happen for her daughter, Joel Joni, aka Jojo Siwa. and so when she's 9, she's cast on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, which is a sort of Dance Moms spin-off, I think, or it's made by one of the figures from Dance Moms. And she does okay, not super well. I think she got sort of 5th place, but she's sort of marked herself out as having a strong and very kind of reality TV friendly personality persona. She's loud. She's kind of, sometimes outspoken or rude, but also sort of in a way kind of very earnest and, tries very hard and really gets into the kind of emotion of the show and whatever, and is very tenacious. So she gets picked up for 2 seasons of Dance Moms from 2015. And kind of cements her reputation on that show. She has a coach, famously harsh Abby Lee Miller, who sort of has this, love-hate relationship with her. She's kind of notes her obnoxiousness and so on, but also praises her presence and her drive. And then that's a springboard for her. She crosses over, as you mentioned, into Nickelodeon. She gets millions of YouTube followers. She starts pumping out terrible music. She gets, she puts her first single Boomerang out in 2016, which went platinum.
Did you have a look? Did you see how many plays that has on, I don't know how many it has on
That's a good question.
Spotify. Did you have a look how many streams it has on YouTube?
I know that she's got billions of YouTube streams, but
It's
I didn't.
1 billion streams
there you go.
on 1 billion plays on YouTube, which is that's a very rare thing to see when you click a YouTube video that it goes one that has 1B next. And apparently that was an anti-bullying anthem, Boomerang, which is why parents loved it. The parents of like little dweebos who were getting bullied at school, they would used to go, "Hey, don't worry about the fact that you're getting bullied because you're a dweebo. Just put on Jojo Siwa's Boomerang and you can boomerang back from getting your head flushed down the toilet."
Yeah. Just throw your boomerang at that bully, it said, I believe. And so then she does a world tour in 2019, sells out more than 100 venues, including the O2 Arena here in London, where I'm coming to you from today. And
from the O2 Arena.
I'm coming here from the O2 Arena and the conference center out the back of the O2 Arena. And in 2016, she also releases a line of hair bows, which became part of her kind of early image.
That's right.
She has a partnership with Claire's, which is a fashion accessory and jewelry company. I read, John, that that got so massive that they had to ban them in some schools. That's right.
Yeah.
Particularly, I mean, I read an article in The Guardian, so I guess it was UK focused, but it said, some schools in the UK took to banning them because they were sort of seen as, a little bit like schools that insist on everyone wearing uniforms because otherwise they become this kind of status symbol or this peer pressure.
Yeah, kids
item.
get teased like, you can't be in our group because you don't have, just like I couldn't be in the group because I didn't have Reebok pumps.
Exactly.
And to this day, that's why I have a shitty life and I have to do this little podcast. That's right. All the kids who are in the Reebok pump group, they're all magistrates and CEOs now.
Well,
they're all the heads
of radio contracts, and you've just got your Lynxes or whatever those slightly shit ass Puma ones were. And so and then obviously you get this phenomenon where it becomes like a fashion item. Stores that are not associated with Jojo Siwa start selling bows, and bows kind of have a moment.
Have a moment
for the tweens,
I guess. For tweens.
A moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is officially a moment for tweens.
That's right. Man, that is a phrase that heralds the apocalypse, isn't it?
Announced the president.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. The UN, UNICEF, in fact, said it's a moment for tweens. And she says, of course, this is classic Jojo Siwa. She says, the bows are a quote, symbol of power, confidence, believingness.
Yes, exactly. Not a product that I can just make bank from. It's about so much more.
It's so much more than that. And am I going to, in light of them being such a symbol, give the proceeds to, I don't know, women in developing countries? No, but bows, they can buy my bows. She gets a cosmetics kit also that gets put out. And in 2019, the FDA issued a warning about it containing dangerous levels of asbestos, which I love. Just girls putting asbestos on their faces in an homage to Jojo Siwa.
Thanks to Jojo Siwa, who said that was about female empowerment.
Exactly.
And believingness.
I was so empowered, I got mesothelioma from makeup. And and then in 2017, so I'm jumping around a bit, but this is all in the kind of late 2010s, signs with Nickelodeon, appears in these things that I thank God haven't seen. Lip sync battle shorties with Nick Cannon. That sounds amazing. A film called Blurt. She partners with JC Penney. Again, kind of expands the accessories range that she's releasing. She releases books aimed at young children. So she's really it's an incredible marketing machine. And her mum is part of her team, still is part of her team, and has been since day one. So you get the impression that Jojo's not the only one benefiting, that there's certainly a kind of entourage of interested parties and sort of, slightly tiger mom kind of characters behind her, pushing her forward which is always a little bit of a worry. And as I mentioned, she was also homeschooled. So she's kind of had this fairly weird cloistered youth where she's been pushed into celebrity. Yeah, and they've obviously been very kind of calculated in putting as many fingers in as many pies as they can. She gets a doll made in her likeness. She gets bedroom decor, bloody everything. And she is kind of shoved through the ringer in terms of reality TV, including kind of stuff that's on Nickelodeon and stuff that's elsewhere. So she's on, The Masked Singer. She's the youngest person to appear on that, I think, until the great Honey Boo Boo. She's on something called Nickelodeon Kart Races 2 and 3. She's on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. She's on So You Think You Can Dance. She's on America's Got Talent, all of that stuff. And of course, most recently, she's been on Big Brother, and we'll come to that because
UK Big Brother.
Exactly, yes. UK Big Brother, because there's a little bit of unpacking to do with that. And as things go on, she gets this reputation for a couple of things. One is kind of trying to, as you alluded to, mature and change as she gets older. So she's sort of at a certain point, that kind of marketing machine is still very much in train, but she's, she comes of age and she tries to sort of put a bit of edge on her image and kind of maybe, well, at least in her sort of PR based version of what occurs, she's trying to kind of reclaim her narrative a bit and, trying to get push through the sort of saccharine sweet marketing machine and say, look, I'm a bit like a genuine pop star. I've got things to say. I've got sexual identities that I want to talk at immense length about. And
like people who have very full fleshed out, interesting personalities.
Exactly.
She made hers all about her sexuality.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And people, and I fear that people loved having her on their podcast because she was kind of unconsciously or unselfconsciously cringe and lacking in self-awareness in a way which sort of generated these amazing sound bites. So probably the first time I ever saw her speak was a reel from one of these podcasts, and we might even show it if you like.
Yeah, let's do it, John. And actually, just before we do that, what I will do is I will play. I was looking her up earlier. I will play the first video that's on her first YouTube channel, just so people get a sense of what she used to look like and basically how she started. So I'm going to click oldest on the Jojo Siwa channel, and I'll be able to share here with everybody so you can see. This is basically Jojo when I think she was 10 or 12 years old. Actually, she looks younger than that here. And this is the dance reality TV show era. So this is kind of how she exploded into the world. Okay. Let's just watch this together.
Just two normal men watching a
10-year-old dancing girl and broadcasting it to the internet. That's fine. Okay. Hang on, wait. Sorry. This is her. It's actually very cute. She has that sort of, hey everyone, I really, I'll show you. It's very cute.
It's sort of Shirley Temple, isn't it?
No.
Hey everyone, it's Jojo. Check me out on all social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Jojo Siwa. Yep. I only have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and no backups.
I got myself on Twitter. So that was
there you go.
Stop sharing. Yeah, so that's how she started out, and she was adorable and
very sweet,
and she was wholesome. And then she started. I don't know. Maybe we should show. Is there anything else here that kind of communicates? What else was she doing here? What's on Jojo Siwa's phone? Meet and greet chat, fan gifts. Let's have a quick look at this one.
Yeah, sure.
Jojo. And right now, yesterday I did a meet and greet and I got a lot of fan gifts. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that came. But some of these are really cool, so I thought I'd show you them. So to start, someone made me this poster. And it is
Oh, that was you, John.
Outed. Yeah. I did. I was just in the back. Can I give you my poster?
It's just got 100 photos of you on it, Jojo.
I hope there are no grown people at those events, but I fear there may be.
So that was everybody got used to. And then is this? Do we want to show where she's talking about how she does maths, John?
I'd love to show that, please.
Because even if you didn't know who this was and you saw this, you would still get a lot of enjoyment out of this clip.
Yeah,
and just go, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think we should just, before I prattle on, we should just go to it and then.
Okay, let's have a look.
It's a wonderful watch. You get nothing else from this episode. Just watch this clip because it's a beauty.
I'm a very unique case. The more you get to know me, the more you're like, yo, your brain's being studied when you kick the can. Because is different in there. And it's something that I don't try to like prove to people that my brain's different, but it does work in very different ways. Back in the day when I did go to school, I would buy 6th grade, right? It was an online program. And I would click the first math lesson and I would scan the lesson and be like, okay, I'll figure it out. And I'd go to the questions and I'd get 100%. So then I'd jump and I'd do like the 6th lesson. And then I would just go straight to the questions and I would know how to do it. And then I would be like, all right, well, I'm just going to try to take the end of the year test and like see if I can pass. And I would know how to do it all. Right? And then that's how I graduated so early, is I just kind of like breezed through it all, which is like crazy. Having a girlfriend at the time who was in high school when I should have been in high school, but I was already graduated. She did this math problem and she was like, answer this. And she tried to make a really hard Albert Einstein problem. And I did it. And she was like, how'd you get that answer? And I was like, well, I just did. Like, I don't know. And she was like, well, show me your work. So I showed her how I did it. And she was like, I've never seen someone solve a math problem like that. And I was like, but did I get the answer? She was like, yeah. I was like, great. Can we move on with our life? And that's kind of like my work mentality too. Like, it's very different, but in like, I guess a good sort of way.
Can you imagine JoJo in a remake of Good Will Hunting?
Oh, I love it.
The equation.
Oh, can ya? I love it. Man, she is a unique case.
What a genius. This is what I mean. Like, I just think that is a real testament to, I mean, that's classic JoJo, but it's a real testament to the fact that she's kind of been obviously raised in this very warped kind of cotton wool environment and led to believe she's incredibly unique and special. I mean, probably all of those kids were getting 100% in the grade 6 maths questions.
I love how she's just throwing in like, it's just like everything. She's got a girlfriend. She's cool and gay. She's a genius.
And I was just like, whatever. Give me an Einstein problem. I'll just smash it. I don't even know. I don't even care. Whatever. So yeah, that's the kind of classic, you know, you've been homeschooled. Your mum is kind of filling your head with how special you are, and you just end up a slightly kind of delulu pain in the ass. And then famously, another incident which is very much on trend is, as you mentioned in the introduction, where she talked about how she wanted to invent gay pop, a new genre called gay pop. And anyone with even the most rudimentary knowledge of pop would know that that's not a thing that you can invent, because, you know, everyone from Elton John to I don't know, Liberace to David Bowie, they've all kind of been gender bending queer pop artists. That's basically a backbone of pop music. But she thought, no, and then she was kind of backpedaling it, but in this way that indicated, because she recognized that there was a lot of pushback and a lot of people listing all of these, you know, LGBTQ artists. And she was saying, well, okay, I'm not inventing it, but I'm going to change it up. I'm going to be an important figure in the gay pop movement.
It was very reminiscent of Sam Smith copped that when he received some sort of award some years ago, and he said, I'm the first gay man to ever receive this award.
And then it was just was like, factually correct.
Yeah.
And so she said in this interview with Billboard, so excited to bring this version of pop music back. And when she was asked what it was, she said it's called gay pop. And
it's like a 7-year-old being asked these questions.
Yeah. And then she's, I read this great quote from a guy called Melvin Williams, Associate Professor of Communication and Media Studies at Pace University. At its core, JoJo's pop music rebrand exclaims obnoxious pick-me behavior, prompts cringe-worthy audience embarrassment, and displays an underdeveloped queer-baiting model curated by record executives. So that kind of typifies the critical response that she receives, particularly from people in the queer community who were like, you don't get to just throw these things around and think that you're speaking for us and kind of cynically appeal to us. But she did. I mean, she really, part of her rebrand was talking a lot about how she was experiencing a kind of evolution of her sexual identity. And she was initially saying, I'm a lesbian. And then she was like, oh, maybe I'm a pansexual. And then she was saying, oh, maybe I'm non-binary. And then when she got on Big Brother, she's saying, oh, maybe I'm not a lesbian, maybe I'm queer, which is good because that can just mean whatever you want. And
that's what I always say.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people that I'm queer.
Yeah.
Because I often see particularly like female celebrities in the United States will say like, I'm queer. And then I'm like, but Hasley, you have a male partner and you're pregnant. It's just like, you don't just get to like have a pixie haircut and be queer.
That's right.
That's always what it is. It's like, look, cut my hair short, queer.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's my husband and I'm pregnant.
I could be, I could be with a woman. And that's what makes me.
That's right.
Queer.
That's right. I had a dream once.
Yeah.
Right. Where I was with a woman.
That's right.
So I'm queer.
And she has been, in her defense, I suppose you could say, with women, including Kath. Let me just check her name. I think it's Kath Ebbs, who. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, Kath Ebbs. Now, I don't know this person, Kath Ebbs, but apparently she's an Australian. She's a celebrity in Australia, although not on my radar.
Really?
She's an influencer, basically, in Australia. She's very kind of into talking about her own sexual identity. She identifies as non-binary. And when Jojo Siwa went into the Big Brother house, her and Kath, who's a few years older, I think Jojo was at that time 21, Kath is 27 at that stage. Jojo and her were in a relationship. And I love that aspect of it too, because you and I have talked previously on the show about how a burgeoning export market for Australia is what we call celebrity caddies, which is your kind of weird offsiders of celebrities who are in kind of sometimes in quasi or actual romantic relationships with them.
You have diminished status. Nobody's really heard of you except they've seen you in paparazzi photos trailing behind the celebrity in question.
Exactly. So she's a bit like, they're a bit like Eddie Benjamin is to Justin Bieber. I don't know. I just always think
Kanye West's wife. That's the other one.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Bianca
the
Sensori.
It's our greatest export. Wine, iron ore, celebrity caddy.
Exactly. The Sensori, Ebbs, Benjamin. I mean, is there like a human trafficker at the center of this who's just sending these people to parties, pairing them up
with, how's it going? All think you're bloody amazing. That's what they're trained in.
Exactly. So she's on, and she gets on Celebrity Big Brother. At that point, she's kind of at the height of identifying in a very kind of, you might think cynically, a very on the nose way, wearing lots of kind of, wearing lots of rainbow colors, talking a lot to anyone who listen about her sexual identity.
I think also it's probably important to mention, John, at least to me, and she may not have been aware of this, but once you're on, for her at her stage in her career to be on UK Celebrity Big Brother, it's very much like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here territory.
Totally.
It's very much like the producers of the Big Brother UK saw this person is a cringe. This person is, as we say, John, we should get the next round of DPTM merch is definitely going to be widely mocked. It's just the best DPTM phrase. that's what they've done. They've gone, who is currently being widely mocked? Because we can afford them. They will take the money.
Yeah.
And it'll get eyeballs on the show because everyone will go, oh, how's this person going to embarrass themselves next?
That's right.
And so,
it's kind of got to be somebody who's not quite going along with being widely mocked, because that just makes it seem a bit toothless and benign.
You're not going up when you're on UK Celebrity Big Brother.
No.
It's not like you're an ascending pop star and things are going great for you and you go, oh, you know what? I think my next album's going to be critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
Just before it comes out, I'll go on Celebrity Big Brother UK.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. That's it. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who you mentioned at before the show, at the height of his career, he wasn't going on Celebrity Big Brother, was he?
He was Truman Capote, and then straight after he went into the Celebrity Big Brother house, and he just went in as Truman Capote as a bit of a meta performance,
still in character. Pedro Pascal, man of the moment. He's not going on UK Celebrity Big Brother, but Jojo did, bless her, and when she did, she was talking about how she was identifying as a lesbian. And then she starts musing loudly in the house about the fact that, oh, maybe I see myself as more queer than lesbian. And this seems to coincide with her, well, for one thing, having a run-in with Mickey Rourke, which is great. Because he's like...
so good. You couldn't write that.
No. It's amazing. He's kind of, like classic. I mean, he's really washed up at this stage. He's kind of famously botched plastic surgery face, and he's very sort of gravelly, and he's very kind of, he's a bit of a damaged person. And so he kind of picks a fight with her about being a lesbian, and she starts kind of explaining, what you can and can't say and how this is unacceptable and whatever. And they sort of reach a temporary peace or truce, but poor old Mickey he can't help himself. He keeps saying unacceptable things, and he's eventually kicked off the show. But before that happens, she gets into this altercation with him, and this guy Chris Hughes, who's another reality TV star, who's, I think, people in the UK will know. I didn't really know who he was, but he stands up for her in this kind of stoush with Mickey Rourke, and the two of them then develop this very apparent chemistry, and start kind of canoodling on the couch in the Big Brother house. And so a lot of her kind of queer fans are kind of going, were you just like bullshitting us this whole time, and you just want to be with like kind of, this kind of ripped Love Island kind of guy. And apparently that's what happened. So within, literally, she gets off the show. She starts talking. She's talking on the show about how, this is we've got a lot of chemistry, but it's platonic because I'm queer and blah blah blah. She gets off the show at the Celebrity Big Brother rap party. Apparently, she breaks up with Kath Ebbs, and poor old Kath has to go back to Australia and go back into the pool of celebrity caddies.
The Celebrity Caddy Academy to work, to brush up on her skills.
Exactly.
Celebrity Caddy finishing school.
That's right. And then she's kind of subsequently formed this relationship with Chris, who's, they've said like, well, it's not platonic anymore. We're just in love with each other. And, part of me is like, well, okay, fair enough. She's very young. She's had this really weird childhood.
So weird.
And so I kind of,
since the age of 10, she's just been sort of like, you're amazing and famous.
That's
everybody
right.
wants to be around you.
Yeah. So you feel, even in putting this together, I felt some sympathy with her, because I was like, well, of course she's sort of saying dumb young things, because she is very young. She is very naive. She's had this really weird cloistered upbringing, and then she's just being kind of picked over by people who are like, where do you stand on the kind of sexual identity spectrum? And then she's being forced to kind of be consistent with that over time, which most people of her generation at her age wouldn't be able to pull off if they were kind of held to account for everything that came out of their mouth on that subject. So I do feel some sympathy for her, and I wish her and Chris the very best, of course. But she's continued down that path, and it seems like she's kind of in a increasingly sort of testy relationship with her base, with kind of Siwa heads.
Well, this is the question, and who are they? Because as I was reading up on this, John, the question that kept presenting itself to me is where is the money coming from now? Because she used to be able to sell all these products to children, the bows, when everyone was having a bowment, and she used to be able to command, I'm sure, quite huge appearance fees and things like that. And I think endorsements, and she was on TV. She had TV shows. She was everywhere. She was very in demand. She was very credible. She was, credible at least in, it's like, it wasn't like she was being widely mocked when she was.
No, not at that stage.
She was the perfect spokesperson for the brands that she was representing and, trying to get products into particular demographics' hands. But now it seems like she's on I have to do a lot of reality TV where people are tuning in because they want to see a bit of a car crash.
Exactly.
They want to see, whoever cast her and Mickey Rourke in the Big Brother house, when they started having a fight, that person just might have thought, I am the greatest casting director of all time.
Yeah. Someone texted them and said, Mickey and Jojo are going at it, and they just beamed and said, I'm so good at this. Who could have even
imagine the
nobody but me could have even held those people together in one thought, but I did it.
Imagine that's like 12 days of Daily Mail coverage right there. Jojo Siwa gets into verbal altercation with Mickey Rourke over gayness.
Yeah, leathery old man says a bunch of kind of dated crap to Jojo Siwa, and she kicks off. and then he gets kicked off, which I loved. His arc is definitely
what an arc.
That's another story altogether. But
again, he's cringe. He's cringe arc. He's widely mocked. That's why he was in the house.
Yeah,
that's why he took the money.
Exactly. His period of being in The Wrestler and talking about how he's kind of was this lampooned figure, but is actually kind of misunderstood and creative. That's finished now. And so then she kind of and I think what's happened is, so you get this sense that, as we've talked about on the show previously, that there's people who are either cultivating these scenarios or they're reacting to them in a way that's very calculated and thinking, how can we monetize this? So what they've done initially is, how can we monetize the fact that you've become this kind of cringe figure? And now I think they're like, how can we monetize the fact that your fans are sort of pissed off with you? So she sort of goes to concerts. She's a bit more, she tries to be a bit more like broody and edgy. She's in there's a clip I found where she says, screaming at a concert and saying, who the fuck just booed me? Which one of you just booed me? And yelling at the crowd. And then she's talking about, then she's like drinking alcohol at one of her concerts, which turns out to be just like grape juice or something. So she says later in an interview. So it's even then it's like the breakdown or the spinning out of control is just a facade, and you're just getting this kind of hyper managed sort of stagey version of somebody who's becoming like a raw, authentic person.
But do you see my theory, which is just doesn't have a ton of evidence, but this is the idea that I love to play with.
Yeah,
is that she doesn't really know that the whole world is laughing at her. She would get some sense of it, but not really.
No,
because she would still be very protected.
Yeah.
But her team would know because they're tuned into everything. It's part of their job to be on social media every day, reading what's going on. It's called social listening, John, in the social media era, is where you have a team that monitors the comments essentially of the discussion about you online.
Okay.
And so do we live in such a cynical world where little Jojo, where her team is telling her that she's all talented and amazing, and hey, look, that Karma single, it did get 30 million streams on
Yeah.
Spotify, even though everybody said you looked ridiculous in your sort of Kiss outfit.
Yeah.
But it got 30 million streams, so people love you, and they'd show her the comments from all the JoJo stans that are all starting themselves to be adults now, and they just say to themselves, "Look, we just got to keep riding this, until and when does it run out? Maybe it never does, because her fame." Her fame is such now that maybe she can just keep being in the public eye enough that she keeps getting reality TV roles, because so long as there's reality TV, she might be okay, because reality TV needs these types of celebrities that have fallen off to put into the show.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, there's a darkness to that, because obviously one of the main people in her tent or in her kind of entourage is her mum. So you kind of think like, is your own mum sort of rubbing her hands together, pushing you into the Big Brother house, talking to the other people in your team about how you've now got this kind of meta career as the person that people love to hate, but nonetheless making you do these interviews? Like, how are these people reconciling that? And it's true. Like, there's no way that you would talk to her management team and say, but don't you find that she's kind of ridiculous and mocked, and they'd say, "What? No, I didn't realize that." Like, this is the whole world. These people. It's probably
one of those things about, we often talk about how people justify things to themselves. Everybody knows, but it goes unsaid. Like, everybody know, even the people in Big Brother. Like, I imagine if I'm thinking of there's that conservative American, like, undercover journalist who often gets, like, members of the Democratic Party, often for some reason, like, gay men. He seems to manage to sort of trick them into dates, and then he asks them if they knew that Biden was really senile, and they spill it all, and then they run the story. It makes me feel like if I got on a date with a Big Brother producer, and I'd sort of lean over and go, but obviously, like, everybody's laughing at all the people, and they'd go, what do you mean? No, it's about celebrating it's about bringing entertainers together. Yeah. And, and if you ask, it's funny because I think even if you ask reality TV fans, they themselves, we talk about this a lot, like, they themselves, nobody will admit that the joy is coming from laughing at people.
That's right. Or that the whole thing is kind of staged managed. I mean, they like to think that what they're getting is like, oh, did you see these people had a stoush? Did you see these people had a relationship? Obviously, there's some real shit happening in there. Like, I don't know that you had to really tell Mickey Rourke to be a loose cannon. I think that's just, you just put him in an environment and watch him go. But
I guess that's the other thing, isn't it? With the casting, is you can't have people. I mean, the reason celebrities work is because they know to not be boring. It's been their career. So
that's right.
You would pick people and go like, maybe there'll be some fireworks between Jojo Siwa and Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that's right. And but you sort of think, well, where's that going? Because is there a point where if she's not kind of on board with all of this, is she going to turn around to her team and say, why is this the third year in a row where you're just putting me in a bunch of dog shit celebrity, like I'm eating cockroaches here as a dare. Like, aren't I supposed to be an artist? And when are we going to get back to that? So I don't know, because either she has to ditch those people and, I don't know, make have a crack at genuine reinvention, which is pretty tough. Or she's just got to accept that and make peace with, like, this is how I make money.
I do agree with you that I think there's a certain level of empathy that one should have, because empathy or sympathy, John, what should I use there?
I think you could, I would say sympathy in her case. I feel sympathy.
Empathy is is it like when, what's empathy?
Well, people say empathy is more like putting yourself in their position. Which is hard for me with Jojo Siwa. But sympathy is kind of closer to pity, which I do feel.
Yeah, sympathy because she's grown up in an environment where she can't develop a normal character like a normal person.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, she does seem to be genuinely quite a sort of unlikable person to be around. Like, I can't imagine that she can now just go, like, that's not an act.
No.
But I mean, as in, like, when she's on those podcasts saying, like, I'm a maths genius and I'm like, I'm holding the torch for
a joke.
No, and she just is so kind of lost as into how to interact with people normally. She's just like, look, can you guys not tell how amazing I am and I'm going to rock your world and watch me do a dance now. Have you seen the weird clip? There's so many weird clips of her on the internet where she's like, somebody with a microphone would be like, Jojo, we love your new dance. Do your new dance. And then like with no music, she just starts sort of stomping and plodding around. And it's so uncomfortable. It's like, why just don't dance for people, Jojo, like, with no music.
Literally dancing for people. I mean, it's not great. But so should we
play a little cringe compilation of her for 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's do that.
Definitely should.
What I was going to say is, should we have
my sympathy has expired.
Should we pivot to a kind of rehabilitation center for the widely mocked? Where we
the DPTM rehabilitation center for the widely mocked.
That's right. Like a kind of Professor Xavier X-Men thing, except for people who are widely mocked and need to know how to tap into a more genuine sense of personhood.
And I just am disappointed that it's the 8th time you back Corey Feldman. Oh,
that's right.
He's just he's in and out of
checked himself out after a week. He's like, I think I'm all right. Like, all right, man.
I'll just show you this. So this is only 2 minutes. This is from a year ago. So this is this was when she was first starting to be embarrassing, but you'll enjoy this. This is the kind of, when I say that she just does seem a little bit silly and unlikable, it's because of moments like this. John, you've been able to hear these correctly. The sound has come beautiful to hear. Okay, let's have a look. This one here.
My route that I want to go is like the Britney Spears, the Miley Cyrus without the crazy face.
What's coming next? Like, are we going to get a full album?
I think whether people like
those glasses.
This song, maybe me as a whole, is people's guilty pleasure. And I think that gives us somewhere to go. I wanted to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop. And they were like, what's that?
Some of the most respected people in the world have come up to me and been like, what you're doing right now is so right. It is so right. It's what the world needs.
The world needs JoJo. She's about to do peace in the Middle East, dude, with that look.
I heard that from Lil Nas X yesterday. Heard it from Megan Trainor a few days ago. It blows my mind.
Dream guest on my podcast? Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, let's spice things up. One of my exes.
Oh, what is happening with your head?
Honestly, what's happening on my head, what's happening in my head, we never know.
If you have a Tesla that is completely wrapped
in like my 15-year-old face,
and it's like 100 of your faces, why do you drive that car?
No one has made this dramatic of a change yet. Wow. No one has made, in my generation, this extreme of a switch. And I am the first in the generation. It is very scary, but someone's got to do it. No one nowadays makes major music videos like Gaga did back in the day, Britney did back in the day. The world is just scared of new, scared of art.
People don't like change.
People don't like change. They don't. I'm not afraid to make art. I'm not afraid to give you change. I'm not afraid to make you question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's Jojo Siwa and a little Cringe compilation. So, John, as I asked the question in the intro, is there a redemption arc? Can she go away? Can she live in a rural town? Can she develop
on the Tibetan plateau?
Can she be in the? Can she develop a personality that people want to be around? And can she just come back?
Yeah, be the real Jojo Siwa. I mean, she'll have to ditch JoJo, I think, and we'll get an album where she uses her full name. And kind of does a very back to basics lo-fi. This is me. I'm writing my own songs. I'm myself now.
Well,
she becomes kind of a Britney-esque weirdo who gets sick of being exploited. Gets a kind of long-running court case to get some money back off her mum, and then just lives alone in a mansion, putting weird things on YouTube. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I think
We'll have to check. We'll have
that's
to
a
do
real
it.
possibility.
We'll have to do a check back in a year. We have to do. I mean, you know, who has been widely mocked
Mm,
and has come back and
Yeah.
has won the respect back
It's
of
true.
the public. Not we haven't checked back in on Ray Gun. You must be a little bit more. Are you a little bit more tuned in to what's happening with Ray Gun because you're in
am.
Australia?
Yeah, we might, and that's a whole other catastrophe. But I think I don't think Ray Gun's yet put herself up as an example for anyone like Jojo as to what to do. I think Jesus is a pretty good example of what to do if you're widely mocked. He was widely mocked, and then over time, managed to redeem himself and humanity, if you
mocked by
believe
the
the people
Romans.
who support him. And yeah, exactly. He was widely mocked by Pontius Pilate.
That is the greatest redemption arc of all time.
That's
surely.
right. The OG redemption arc.
He was cringe.
Mm.
He was so cringe. He was so cringe that they had to crucify him. They were like,
That's
"Oh,
right.
this is so cringe."
He was also making
you.
pretty grandiose claims about what he was
Yeah,
capable of.
That's true. He was
Everyone
also
laughed at him. Mm.
and now he's respected.
Yeah.
I would say
That's right. People respect
Him-
and love him.
it's him and Peter Andre.
Yeah, Peter's a good example, isn't he? Who we
Yeah.
recently profiled on the show because he has a likability to
He
him.
has a likability to him. He's not doing that. He's not doing that kind of look how amazing I am. And look, she's obviously younger than him.
Mm.
But by all reports, Pete is just beloved. I
Yeah.
mean, and we read that Reddit thread where somebody had said, "Is he really that nice?"
Yeah.
And people just flooded the Reddit comments saying like, "Yes, I've had this experience with him.
Yeah.
I ran into him at Tesco's.
Yeah.
This
Came to
person
my-
had a car accident on the way to his concert, and then he went to the hospital and hung
Exactly.
out
All
with
that
them."
kind of stuff. Which you can totally imagine, unfortunately, people having the opposite sort of encounter with Jojo. Like I was her waitress, and she just like didn't tip me and treated me like shit and didn't look me in the face. That'd be a classic Jojo story, I expect. Could be wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting.
We'll keep an eye on it, and we are absolutely going to make those widely mocked redemption arc T-shirts. The Don't Praise the Machine
That's
widely
right.
mocked rehabilitation center.
Exactly.
Alumni includes the Island Boys, Rebecca Black,
Totally. Yeah.
Tay Zonday,
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. She's
the Coldplay canoodling couple. Cool. All right. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody in this
I want
cast?
to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this journey, as a result of which Jojo Siwa has been added to our Hall of the Widely Mocked. And we can't wait to see you next week.
The podcast.